Hi everyone, my name is Joseph. Welcome to Digimon Liberator Episode 6, Vortex Resonance. So this begins with a little bit of a twist. So Episode 5 Part 2 ends with what looks like is going to be a card battle between Shoto and Owen Dreadnought. As a quick refresher, Owen Dreadnought's even is reestablished in this episode, that Owen Dreadnought is the reason as a quick refresher, at the beginning of the story of Liberator, it's explained that the only reason why Shoto started utilizing Liberator, or the game, was because its favorite card battler was starting to utilize Liberator as well, Owen Dreadnought. Before this, Shoto was not playing Liberator, and the only reason why Ariza was playing was because her favorite card battler, unfortunately I can't recall his name at the top of my head, but the one with the ear, I think that is Owen, excuse me, but the other one, the one who's lighter skinned essentially, he looks a bit American, I might be wrong about that. I forgot his name, but him was Arisa's favorite card battler. That gets re-established again with this episode. Not that Shoto started playing because of Owen, but rather it's established that Owen is Shoto's favorite card battler. Despite this, though, one can tell that Arisa is quite annoyed with Owen Dreadnought, and I can't really blame her, and hopefully other people don't as well, just because of the way that Owen is coming off quite forcefully. So anyway, again, the episode 5 part 2 makes it seem like Shoto will be battling Owen Dreadnought, but it turns out we start in media res, which means that we start in the middle of the middle of the story essentially, and it looks like that Shoto is battling I can't pronounce her name, Yao. I believe her name is Yao. Give me a second here when I do have the character page. Yes, Yao, excuse me. Yao Qinglan, excuse me. And then it gets explained. It goes backwards a little bit, with Shoto being the narrator, stating that re-stepping the steps what we went through in the previous episode part 2, and then including some more context. As it turns out, before Owen and Shoto could start their fight, Cool Boy, I was gonna say Cool Guy. Cool Boy makes a choice to have Shoto fight with another debugger instead, and that debugger will be Yao. And so before they begin their battle, I was going to say they, but that's not. Excuse me, when that was my cat just being a little menace. She knocked over I have a little stuff, a cup filled with like my pins and pinchers and stuff like that. Anyways, so so I was going to say they being the debuggers essentially, they teleport the group over onto a beachside location. Unfortunately, let me see if I can quickly find the name. Oops, my cat's playing with the my hand, so she accidentally clicked on I don't know if you can tell, but she's rubbing her head against my hand, which is pushing my hand against the tracker pad. Pardon me, everyone. Thank you for your patience, but I'm only smiling because I'm looking at the panels. I'll explain right now. Excuse me, everyone. Again, that was my cat. So it's called Lapis Marine, the ever sunny seascape. And the way that this location is introduced is pretty comical. So again, they being the debugger team, they teleport the crew, everyone who was at the story with the previous episode, and they get transported to Lapis Marine. More specifically, and pardon me again, I'm going to do it again. They get taken to a tower. The Lapis Stadium Tower, the top floor more specifically. Within this top floor that allows one to have private battles, and that's why I've been saying they, the debugging team, but I suppose more specifically it's Cool Boy, who's teleporting everyone. It seems to be like he's mostly to be the one in charge, or at least seems to have more agency compared to the other debugger members. Anywho, so Cool Boy teleports everyone to the Lapis Stadium Tower, the top floor to be specific. And it's quite funny how, I was going to say EG, it's quite funny how Shoto notices this. It's described that he sees people in bathing suits all of a sudden. They're going from their previous location to a black area, and when they reappear, Shoto is shocked to discover again that there's people in bathing suits. In the panel I was smiling, if one noticed earlier, I was smiling because the panel specifically of two women in bikinis playing with their Digimon. They're playing on the beach, but also the Digimon's with them, and Gomamon's of course there as well. It's looking like they're playing volleyball or something like that, or at least a volleyball element is present. Since I'm right here, let me just quickly check. Maybe I'm just projecting that. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Since I'm right here, again, I might as well just quickly check. Oh no, there was no volleyball. Oh, no wonder I thought that. So the way the picture is shifted, instead of the waves, this being the water, and the two people playing like this, the panel is vertical instead of horizontal. So the water is on this side and it looks like a bunch of X's. And so for me, that looked like a volleyball net. But no, excuse me. So they're just playing in the water with Gomamon. And so two individuals playing with Gomamon and a baby version. I'm not great with names, so pardon me, everyone. But the baby Digimon looks like either the baby of Vmon or the baby of the black of the black rabbit, Gazimon. Gazi, there we go. I couldn't remember his name for a second. I believe his name is Gazimon. Let me quickly check that since I'm right here. Yeah, Gazimon. It might be the baby form of Gazimon. Anywho, as a quick little tangent as well, since I'm talking about the people who are located here, there's also a quick panel of Vi with her own ghost Digimon. Pardon me, he looks like Wizard. No, he doesn't. He doesn't look like Wizard. Excuse me, but her ghost Digimon. If one has been keeping up with Liberator, you know what I'm referring to. So again, it's pretty comical, just because obviously Shoto is caught off guard, because I would argue that he's obviously a bit attracted to these individuals who are playing in the water. And the panel of Shoto is also quite comical as well. He's just mostly him with his torso with big white eyes. Anywho, so they get transported to this tower, and so instead of a fight between Shoto and Dreadnought, it's going to be between Shoto and Yao. And so far, this ends with everything looking quite bad for poor Shoto. I have to agree with so when the fight begins, at first, Yao doesn't have any Digimon on the playing field during the. I don't play the card game again, as a quick reminder, so forgive me if I'm getting these terms incorrect. But there's no one in the playing field for Yao. They're in the breeding area. And so Shoto makes the choice because he has Terramon and Muchomon. And he makes a choice to go ahead and attack with Terramon. And unfortunately for Shoto, essentially it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! With the trap cards. If anyone ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh! It looks like the good guys could attack, and then all of a sudden the bad guy goes, "You've activated my trap card." That's essentially what occurs right here. And one of the her card special effects is that essentially anyone who attacks the Digimon, what happens? The Digimon when Terramon attacks, one of the Digimon from the breeding area gets sent to the attack area. And of course, since Terramon's only a rookie level Digimon, a child level Digimon, he ends up losing. Terramon gets quite upset and he speaks from his D deck. It's only this time you don't even see his head. It's just the D box seemingly looking like it's talking in like an angry eyebrow kind of looking image. That was pretty funny. I did enjoy that. But Shoto explains that no, don't worry. I just wanted to see if I could attack her since she had no Digimon on the field. I wanted to go after her shields or whatever that those barricades are called, those levels. And Terramon, surprisingly, his anger kind of dissipates fairly quickly, and he says, "Oh wow, it looks like you're doing this with a plan. So cool." Essentially, is how Terramon reacts. I was happy to see that, so that was pretty fun. Really quick, since we're talking about Terramon's reaction, one small element I forgot to discuss, of course, is when the group and Shoto notices pardon me, I'm moving the laptop because my cat was pushing it earlier. When the group gets teleported to this beach area, Sunny Lapis or whatever, Lapis Shore, excuse me, and Shoto notices the woman and the young woman in bikinis. Arisa gets excited. She says, "Oh, we should go shopping here after." She also explains she always wanted to go there, but she never did because the Digimon seemed fairly high leveled. And what's pretty funny is that Terramon surprisingly agrees with Arisa, but he doesn't agree with the fact that she wants to go shopping. He just wants to go exploring. I actually thought that was really cool. I'm probably overthinking this, but I think it's awesome. Usually it's quite gendered, right? Like, "Oh, let's go shopping." And obviously that part is gendered. But the part that I thought was pretty awesome and a little bit ungendered was when Terramon reacts. Instead of him going, shopping, what a girly act to do. Of course you want to go shopping, Arisa. I love how Terramon instead says, "Yeah, I agree. I want to go too." And then he adds in his own little personality. "I want to go exploring," essentially. It's not that he wants to go shopping. He wants to explore. But he's able to think critically enough, he's able to think logically enough that he understands that, well, going shopping also means being able to explore. So, bit of a tangent, a detail I almost forgot to mention, but one could probably tell I'm really appreciating Terramon as a character, so I wanted to include that as well, just because I thought it was an interesting tidbit about his characterization. But again, so going back to the fight, surprisingly, Terramon was fine with Shoto being, in my opinion, not cautious enough. So I do agree with Terramon. If I was in Shoto's shoes, I would not have attacked. I would have just been building up my defenses. And then once I felt like I was good to go with my defenses, then I would go ahead and pursue an attack after that. But everyone's different. Obviously, Shoto has a different game plan. But unfortunately for Shoto, things don't look so great for him because as the battle continues, Yao ends up utilizing a lot of her Digivolution abilities. She ends up to bring in Eaglemon, and so Shoto brings in Parrotmon. But unfortunately for Parrotmon, he gets returned to the deck because of another special effect from one of her cards. And it actually ends with, give me a quick second, everyone. I appreciate your patience. It actually ends with Yao looking quite excited. And it even states, excuse me, what is Shelmon doing there? So that statement is being said because before this, all the Digimon were being removed from the field. So Parrotmon was removed. But not just Parrotmon, but so was, excuse me, I can't pronounce his name. Oh, Marine, excuse me, sorry everyone. Marine Boomon, there we go. Marine Boomon's inherited effect is to make Parrotmon disappear, but also Marine Boomon gets returned to the bottom of the deck, and so it's looking like, well, okay, only Eaglemon should be present for Yao's side, but that's not the case when Shoto looks up, because he's shocked to see his card going away. Once it's explained, his card will disappear. It's stated Parrotmon, who I was hoping would Digivolve into Eaglemon, is gone. Oh, excuse me, I don't know why I said she has Eaglemon on the playing field. But this is just a trade-off. Yao also lost, and when he looks up, we see that Yao is with Shelmon, and then it states DG, and then there's ellipses, and then shows Shelmon, and then I guess this says BAN Bon. I'm trying to read this big red letters. If one keeps up, they'll know what I'm referring to. But unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to refer to. There might be like a comic, manga specific thing. I thought at first it was like the heartbeat, bum 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 bum. But it seems to be again BANG, bang, bang ba. Oh, bang bang. Okay, what bang bang? I'm not sure what sound effect that's supposed to create. But anywho, this the ba is with Shelmon, and then the ang is with Shoto screaming. And then what is Shelmon doing there? And then the G is here by itself. And then again, ba. And it shows Yao with a grin. Beneath her chin, the final ang and G. And that's how the episode ends. So I would argue, I don't think Shoto is going to lose. He's obviously has to prove himself. If he does lose, I would argue he's going to create more of an issue, especially because Aaron Dreadnought is seeming like he's not happy with these two new debugger teams. Or these two new debugger members. And so if Shoto was to lose, I feel like that would put the stories pacing back a little bit. To be honest with everyone, if he does lose, I would be quite shocked about that. Shocked in a positive way. I'll be really curious to see how the writers take the story after that. But I don't think Shoto is going to lose. I'm fairly certain he is going to win. For right now, he's being caught off guard. I think we've been shown that Shoto at first seems like an individual who just kind of stumbles head on into the fight. But usually, so far, it's been shown that he has a plan of some kind. So I'm going to assume that he's doing, like at the beginning, he wanted to test the field essentially, see if he could attack her. I think he has a certain game plan in mind. He has a certain strategy. Even if he was caught off guard, again, the whole Shelmon appearing is surprising and out of the blue for Shoto, but I'm hoping and I'm fairly sure that it's just a tweak to his original strategy. He's just going to have to adapt with this new detail before him, right? So overall, I did enjoy this. I did enjoy this episode. I did enjoy it a bit more than the previous one. In the previous one, I explained the only reason why I felt it was a bit lackluster, which is because of my own expectations. I was expecting a bit more with the wild Digimon. And again, I was hoping that the card Digimon was going to be separate from the wild Digimon and maybe something was going to occur from there. But it gets revealed in the previous episode that the wild Digimon are essentially being saved by being turned into cards. So the cards help protect them. As a quick reminder, the reason why they needed to be protected is because essentially while in this world, they can't be in this world. They end up having negative effects. Despite that though, Terramon and Shumon seem to be special exceptions to that case. So we'll see what occurs from there. Yeah, for me, that was mostly the main reason why I was a little bit disappointed. And I was also, I guess I'll admit as well, I'm a big fan when stereotypes are subverted sometimes. And I do wish Aaron Dreadnought wasn't so, stereotypical. And he was introduced in Chapter 0, and if one forgot, it kind of seems like he might be doing something in the background in the scenes. I might be wrong about that, but it seems to be implied with episode 0. But again, I might be wrong about that. But if one reads episode 0, I would argue that it's kind of obvious that he was going to be the like the abrasive one compared to the other individual. Again, I can't recall his name, unfortunately, but well, I have the characters right here. Let's see if the characters are listed right here. No, unfortunately not, which makes sense just because they haven't been properly introduced. Only episode 0, and 0 is usually, oh, here I am making this little explanation. His name is Zenith. Excuse me, everyone. So Zenith. But actually, now looking at the pictures, I don't know. Zenith's picture looks. Well, no, never mind. I just saw Owen Dreadnought's profile picture. If you go to the website and look at the two, one will see what I mean. At first, I was too much at the bottom. I was like, I don't know. Zenith looks a little bit suspicious, but then I go up and I see Aaron Dreadnought. Okay, they both look a little bit suspicious. But again, if one watches episode 0, it kind of implies, maybe I'm misremembering the details. For sure, one of these individuals, it looks like it's implying that something's going on behind the scenes. So, I am hoping that Aaron Dreadnought won't be just an abrasive individual for so long. Maybe he's just like this because of his past life. Kind of like Matt or Yamato or Toma as well from Savers. I would argue they were quite cold. Maybe not Yamato code so much, but more like quote unquote cool. And then once they got used to the other new members on the team with Masaru and the group working together in Adventures 1, and then their cool side started melting a little bit and their warmer side started pushing on through. I almost forgot to mention Owen Dreadnought's partner Digimon, Eliza. Oh, since I'm here as well, Violet. Again, she was shown at the beach as well, having a good time with Ghostmon. How can I forget Ghostmon? It's such a simple name. Pardon me, everyone. Again, I'm not the greatest with names and remembering names. But anywho, so again, Owen Dreadnought, his partner Digimon is Elizamon. I have to say, Elizamon, at first, I liked the design, but I was kind of neutral about the Digimon just because, I'm not going to lie, Elizamon looked a little bit too cute for my taste. And for me, I'm fine with cute characters, but it's not really my forte. But I think what made me start liking Elizamon, or rather to start being more positive towards Elizamon, was this episode specifically. I loved how, basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Elizamon's first dialogue is essentially getting all pissy at everyone and basically yelling at Cool Boy, and basically telling him, hey, let's go ahead and start this battle already. Owen is quite busy. He's taking time from his personal life to go ahead and attend this battle. Let's start this battle already. So that was quite comical. I did enjoy that. As always, I do my best to find a quote that I really did enjoy. With the novel, it's much more easier to find quotes, but with the comic, I usually just find one specific quote with multiple panels. But the one that I really enjoyed was, oh, coincidence. So since I was just talking about Elizamon yelling, let me go ahead and just read that verbatim. So this is the perfect place to battle out of sight from other players, Yao states, and Shoto says, I see. Enough. Could we stop all the chit-chatting? And here's Elizamon on Dreadnought's shoulder, looking quite agitated, but still quite cute. Owen is not like you nitwits. He is a very busy person. He's going out of his way to watch you morons battle. Throughout all of that, there's really no panels. It's just mostly orange and white lines. And at this panel, Elizamon has her eyes closed and she's really seemed to be in it, as in yelling a lot. So it looks quite cute. Everyone watches the picture, the comic, you know what I'm referring to. Hurry up and start the test or something. These two are really getting on my nerves, Terramon states. So here's where I wanted to start my actual quote, the passage. And Terramon panel has Shoto actually not looking that irritated. He actually looks a little bit happy. And Terramon, on the other hand, is quite pissed off. Not only does he have one of those angry anime signs, the Tic Tac looking sign, he has another one around the back of his neck. So he has one at the top of his head and towards the back of his head as well, maybe towards his neck area. And his eyes are bright red. And not only that, but he has seemingly steamer, like when it breathes really hard, and it gets represented with that puff of air that's coming out from Terramon's nose as well. And Shoto responds, I know, but you need to settle down, Terramon. Terramon states, these two are really getting on my nerves. And Shoto responds, I know, but you need to settle down, Terramon. The panel is just, there's no background, but there's a picture of Terramon's just his head. And he looks quite pissed off again. Those two Tic Tac signs are near his head. How are you so calm, Shoto? These two are constantly bad-mouthing you. And Shoto is looking like he's nodding his head. That's what the panel seems to imply. And he looks happy with one of those little anxiety drops on his cheek. And he states, the only thing I can do is accept it. I'm a huge nitwit compared to Owen. However, I still have my pride. And after this, the panel gets a lot more serious. Tonally, it shifts to look a lot more serious. And it states, I don't think he's saying it, but in the background it states, let's go. Or maybe Shoto is stating this. But Shoto is looking forward. You can see half of his face. And he no longer has a smile, but he looks quite determined, looks quite resolute. I'm going to pass the test and show him what I'm made of. Oh wow, Teramon responds, and now at this point his anger has dissipated. Shoto is no longer looking resolute, instead he's looking confident with his fist gripped. Yeah, his fist gripped with his hand gripped into a fist. Excuse me, I don't know why I stumbled over right there. And Teramon now looking happy, and he states, "You've grown so much, Shoto." And so I really like that passage because, as always, one could probably tell I'm a big fan of when the Digimon interact quite positively with their partners. In this instance, I love how Teramon, instead of just being upset, he actually trusts Shoto. He could have just been mean. I would argue that Logomon would have been a little bit mean here. He wouldn't have been so deterred from his negative emotions as quickly. And he may have said, "But Iji, you don't always do the correct thing." And then Iji would have to reassure Logomon, "Don't worry, Logomon, this time I know exactly what I need to do." And then Logomon would have been A-okay. I love how Teramon, Shoto needs to state, "It's okay, I might be a nitwit, but I have my pride, and I'll show them what I'm made of." And I love how for Teramon that's enough, and he looks quite content. Not just content, but supportive as well. Yeah, so thank you so much for your patience, everyone. I know last week was not the Digimon Liberator. I did recover from my cold completely now at this point, which is nice. It was really cool to being able to breathe again. And not having to constantly clear my throat because of things like mucus and stuff like that, right? But again, thank you for your patience, everyone. Hopefully one enjoyed that video. The vital bracelet, I'm a big fan of it. I'm always going to keep on wearing it until I can no longer wear it. I am still disappointed that it's gone. But anywho, my question for everyone for this chapter is, were you caught off guard at the battle? Were you like myself in expecting the fight? I combined battle and fight. Were you expecting the fight, the battle, to be between Shoto and Edwin Dreadnought? Or were you expecting a kind of subversion of expectations in this way? Or maybe something was implied in the previous episode, episode 8, part 2, and I just missed it by accident. So again, to reiterate, my question is, were you expecting that subversion of expectations? Or were you like me and expecting a battle between Shoto and Owen? As always, everyone, thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. Have a prodigious day, and take care, everyone.